Breakdowns.
Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. We are on episode 87, and as you can see, I'm not at home base. I had to travel for this one, but it's going to be well worth it. I've been friends with this guy for a minute, and this guy has been doing some amazing stuff, and he is on the last date of tour and in his old hometown. But today we have Letdown, a.k.a. Can I say your government name?
Yes, you can say my government name.
I don't know if you're doing witness protection, man. I haven't seen you.
Do you know how awkward it is to introduce yourself as Letdown to people?
You made it.
Do you know how awkward it is when people don't know my real name?
It's
super weird.
That's got to be super weird.
Yeah.
You got a good name.
By the way, are you going by OC now?
Yeah.
Just OC?
Yeah. You know why I did that?
Why?
Dude, so I used to have my full name on everything. And when I started playing shows and like in bands, and I would know people, like internet friends, but nobody would come up and talk to me. And they would give me that weird look of like,
oh, they didn't know how to say it. They didn't know how to say it. Oh.
Yeah. And I was just like, they can't be that. And I just, out of nowhere, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make it easy, simple.
How do you spell your name? O-S-I-E-L?
E-L, yeah.
How do they say it?
How do they
What's
say it?
the funniest one?
The funniest one was not even close. I used to work at a bank. We had name tags.
Okay.
My name's spelled out on it. Even if you butchered it, you would get some sort of meaning. This girl goes, "Oh, thank you so much." Looks down at the name tag. Takes a few seconds. "Thank you, Osiris." And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I was thinking you were going to say O'Seal.
No, that's the one I get all the time. Yeah. One of my friends, I corrected him not even that long ago, and he was saying O'Seal, and I'm like, that's not how you say my name.
So why didn't you do O.C.L?
I used to do that, but I wanted, honestly, like shorter syllables.
OC's cool.
Shorter syllables.
Yeah, true.
OCL, like less time. Just be like, oh,
it's okay.
Yeah.
I had a guy call me Black Cardigan one time.
Black Cardigan?
Yeah.
From Blake Coddington? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
And in a serious note. And it became my production manager's name for me in his phone because of that. He was rolling on the floor.
That's a good one, though. Black cardigans are nice.
Whatever, Osiris.
Shit, I'm going to call you Cardigan for the next time. Letdown, man. It's been a wild ride for you. I remember you starting it, like the hint of it, like before. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember being in the parking lot
of the Top Ramen place on 7th Street.
Yeah. Yeah, and you were like, "Hey, I want to show you this," and we sat down in like your car.
In my car, yeah.
And you listened to the first
iteration. That's my last full memory with you.
Yeah,
I think it might have been one of the last.
I think that was probably the last time we hung out.
I was just telling them this the other day. I was like, telling them this whole story about how we sat in the car this whole time. I think only one of the songs I showed you ended up being something.
Yeah, because it was an entire actual
Yeah, I called
album.
it. I called it. What did I call it? I called it like With Hate or something. It was something super DFW emo core. It was because I wanted to be the plot,
Oh,
as
really?
we all did.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
Okay, because such is life.
But yeah, I remember hearing that iteration, and even before then, when you were, because you worked on so much music with like so many people, and just hearing you like demo some stuff sometimes and like just sing, and you weren't the biggest fan of your voice. So what gave it that push to kind of give you and want to actually pursue like your own actual project?
Still not a fan of my voice.
It's ridiculous.
Still not.
I'm mad about that.
It was TikTok. I was just bored. When I moved out of DFW, I started working at Sweetwater, which turns out that's not a really fun place to be, man.
Really?
Picture Google, like with the slides and the company arcade and the cafeteria and like Happiness Land, and you're around music gear, but the most depressing people you've ever met in your life.
Wow.
Just a horribly strict environment. And we had like a tennis court like in the building that you could use on your break, but like you couldn't actually use any of the stuff. It was like,
but I mean, that's what it is, right?
Yeah, it's just
that's the whole point of why Google does it, because they like, the more comfortable.
Right. And if you talk to people that work at Google, they're like, no,
yeah,
it's not the move. But then pandemic happened, and I pointed at you with this.
You know how to use these, right?
Yeah,
more than I do.
I have one of these in my bunk. No, pandemic hit. I started making TikToks, and it was just because a friend of mine convinced me to put my song Spotlight on TikTok, and that first post went like not crazy viral, but I mean, like for somebody who has never had views on the internet or anything, it did like 500K in the first day.
Oh wow!
And I was like, what? And then I had like 100,000 TikTok followers the next morning, which was super fucking strange to me. And then that was the first initial push, like, oh, maybe this could be something. But then months went by. I think maybe 5 or 6 months went by of me just trying this TikTok thing and nothing worked. And the followers actually started going down. It was super discouraging. And then I had my first, like, real, actual, truly viral moment. And then that's when, like, the labels start calling you and agents start calling you. And you start seeing numbers translate into your Spotify and your Apple Music. And you start making money off of things. And it's weird.
It's weird. Yeah.
The weirdest part is being here while this is happening, like being back in Dallas.
Yeah.
Because I want to make it a point to see a lot of old friends. People hit me up and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like I'm still the same kid. Mentally, I know I'm not, because a lot has changed. I think I've grown up more in the last 2 years than I had in the first 25 years of my life.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just strange, dude.
That's what I was, like, that was weird, because honestly, like, this podcast is based around, like, local artists and stuff like that. And when you were coming to town, I'm like, you are like from here. You know what I mean? Like, look, you grew.
This is home.
Been here.
I used to work at RBC down the street.
Oh,
I ran sound there.
Oh, really?
Yep. I've played at every one of these places except Trees.
Oh, this is your first time playing Trees ever?
This is the only time I've never played it. Wow. Or the only venue I've never played.
Wow. Completing the gauntlet, man.
I guess no, I haven't played Bomb Factory either. I haven't played any of Clint's venues.
There, you getting up there. But yeah, you're back here, and after this whole like transformative, like you're saying, like the last like 2 years, not only like just music wise, but like you're saying, like as a person, like how much you've changed and grown, and like being able to, what the subject matter in your songs is, I mean, it goes with your artist name, you know what I mean? Like Letdown, it's a lot of like hard topics for yourself. Is that like what you use to express like those emotions versus?
Yeah, I think it was just therapy. I think that, you know, when I moved to Indiana and started my job at SKYBAUS, we went into lockdown like that week.
Wow.
And so like I hadn't met anybody that lived there yet. I hadn't made any friends. I was stuck in this 1-bedroom studio apartment. And I know Texas wasn't this bad, but Indiana is like Chicago, and it's like a little more, you know, I'm not going to get into politics, but that side.
Yeah.
And so lockdown was serious lockdown. Like you couldn't go to the grocery store. Everything had to be delivered. You weren't allowed outside. Cops would give you tickets if you went outside.
Oh, wow.
Like it was bad. And so I was stuck alone with myself for the first time in a long time. And so you just sit around thinking about all the shit you've done wrong and all the shit you've done right and all the... You ever lay in bed at night and you like remember like moments from your life that you could have like died and gives you like a jump scare? Have you ever done that?
I've done that a few times.
It was like that times a million.
Oh, shit.
And it was just the most anxiety I've ever had in my life. And the only option was, just write music. And you know, my one love was always producing. And during the pandemic, there was no one to work with but me.
But you.
Thank God something happened, because I did not have a plan B, dude. Yeah, I think that's about all I got on that one.
So... yeah, the pandemic and the people that got unlucky to be completely isolated, like those were like the actual scary like kind of things that were happening. Because I had a few friends that like just a couple months in were completely going on crazy, like it seemed like they were having like mental breaks, and they're just like going off and like speaking completely utter like nonsense stuff that wasn't making sense, but it was that isolation. And it was people that took it to the point where like they weren't even going outside like on their own accord, but like you're saying, like some spots you couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
And that's the part that was nuts. So like one thing where I was working at the time, like the job sucked, but one thing, we never stopped working. So we were essential or whatever, but we never had to break or anything like that. Right. But technically that did help me, because at least I was going out and having to be somewhere and getting that little bit of like social, just like interactions with people.
Oh, we needed it, dude. Yeah. I remember the first time I left like the Midwest to go somewhere, it was Nashville. And it was during the middle of the lockdown, but Nashville wasn't locked down. Like there were no masks. Everything was exactly normal. Like it was super weird, because we'd spent a year in lockdown. Yeah. That's the reason I moved to Nashville.
Oh, really?
And all my friends hated me for it. They're like, you're part of the problem, like all this shit. And I said, no, you know what? This is the first time in a year I felt normal. Yeah. So that's where I'm going to live.
There's like, I hate the way that it had to be like black and white in one way or the other. And
no matter what choice you make, dude, you're going to be demonized for something.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like you'll make what's the best decision like for yourself. You know what I mean?
But that's the wrong attitude.
Apparently,
you make the best decisions for everyone else these days.
Yeah, it's such an impossibility. Like people want black and white because it's easy,
Right.
but it's a shit ton.
Well, the
of
reality
gray.
is that there is truthfully no right answer.
No.
But people don't understand that they won't just stop there. They won't say, oh, there's no right answer. So we have to accept that some people make choices for themselves. But our perception is truly our own reality.
Yeah.
I can't control anyone else but me for any reason.
Yeah, that's
But I mean, it's not as black and white as people make it. I mean, it's just that. Don't be a dick.
that's literally.
And it's so
life
easy
motto.
to be a dick. Dude, I spent half my life as a dick. It's so easy.
But it's also just as easy to not be a dick.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly. It's
all of the
it's super
choice.
easy to say fuck everyone else. I'm important, and it's also super easy to say, you know what? I'm just gonna do me and not bother other people.
Yeah.
You can say fuck everyone else without fucking everyone else,
Yeah.
which is a hard one to learn.
Damn.
Take it from me.
Wow.
It's a hard one to learn.
But you're in a better spot now. It seems why. Like just like even just seeing you and like even just like when I came in and saw you like across the street, like I still got like a little bit of that feeling. I'm like, oh, like you're a little different. You know what I mean? Like just it
I guess
sound
so,
weird, like
yeah.
a little like aura about you. Like you feel like
It's not the first time someone from my past has told me that recently. But I don't know. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And things are finally making sense. I have, for the first time in my life, I'm not looking over my shoulder, and it's an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
And just not worrying about anything. Just
worrying
taking
about-
life as it comes and dealing with it in the moment.
Yeah, a lot of like anxieties can be solved that way of just like
Yeah, and I have
hey.
like crippling anxiety. And so if I just care about what's in front of me, it's all fine.
Yeah, because
so
a
much
lot of those
easier.
problems are just like future maybe problems that could be
Yeah, and
happening,
if you
but
overthink
haven't.
stuff, you'll just cause
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, but anyways, you've been playing some big shows, even on this tour. Like you just played Aftershock. Like,
Aftershock, we played two festivals.
Yeah.
Aftershock and Louder Than Life.
yeah. What's that reaction like coming out to like a crowd that size?
That's the weird one, man, because like we're not playing headlining spots on those. And it's weird because you like when you're in the middle of the lower lineup of the list and you have like a 30-40 minute set and you go out there and you see like the first three bands play and you're like, okay, there's like enough room for 10,000 people here, but then there's just like people against the barricade, nothing else. Then
Yeah.
gets closer and closer to you and that group's not fucking growing and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
fuck. I mean, you know that feeling. We all know that feeling.
Yeah.
I've played to nobody for most of my fucking life. The biggest thing for me, eye-opening as well as just complete positivity and thankfulness, was that the second, like maybe 15 minutes before my set started on both Loud and Life and Aftershock, our crowd went from those like 50 people in the front to like 2,500 people deep, which was nuts. And I do this thing at festivals because you never know, where I'd say raise your hand if you know who I am. And in the festivals in the past, it's been like 40 people.
Yeah.
This time it was like almost the entire crowd both times.
Whoa.
And they were like, I don't know if you've seen the videos on my Instagram, but they're
Yeah.
like screaming the lyrics back at me, and we don't have anything popping the lyrics up behind us.
Yeah,
So that has been absolutely insane to me to finally start, especially with this whole tour, finally start seeing the digital aspect come to life.
yeah, because that's
a hard thing
That's
to do.
figuring that out. It's figuring that translation out because
Yeah.
you see people blow up and go viral and all this stuff, but translating that into people in seats or people like at shows.
That's the big thing,
And
dude.
sticking
I mean,
around.
you said yourself you're booking shows and
Yeah.
stuff, so like that risk. If you book a viral TikTok artist, there's a chance no one's gonna come. And that was like the first few tours I did. I was like, I fucking big head. I got this success on the internet. I'm gonna book a headlining tour, and like 10 people in every city were there.
yeah.
And that was a huge overestimate. So we backed up, started doing more supports. You have to build the live show. And it's the same thing with live bands that are like huge live and they can tour and pull crowds, but then their numbers on the internet are very low.
Yeah.
It's like hard to have your cake and eat it too in this industry.
It's,
Unless you've been a band for 10 years.
yeah, when you can. I've seen that translate over where if they've been a band for a while, they're already established, and then they make a jump to like online and try
Right.
to get like views and stuff. Well, you already have a following that's gonna start you immediately off, but it's figuring it out. So
It
most
doesn't
people
go to asses and seats as fast as people think it does.
No, because I've seen that so many and people post it up all the time where it's like, oh, this person, like, that song, you've heard this song, and then they'll show like videos of their shows, and I'm like, oh, there's like nobody there, or
Yeah.
like there's very not as many people as you would think, versus that if you go and ask anybody about like this song or that song, oh yeah, I know who that is.
That was last year for me. That was the entirety of my last year.
Is that
was just trying to figure out where it works and where it doesn't, and how to build a live audience, because it was just an internet thing.
what? So the steps you took were like taking more, I guess,
Taking more support tours, being in front of more sizable crowds, and also just better marketing. I started shifting my social media marketing to not, hey, look at this song, teasing the song, trying to find a viral moment to, I don't care if 500 people see it, or if it doesn't go viral, if no one sees it. I'm just going to start solely promoting this live show, because that's the future of this. Like, yes, the internet thing can take you so much, but like the dream, the musician dream.
Yeah.
I want to go play these songs.
I feel like that's why, you know, every musician does it, is to play those songs.
To go play the
live.
songs.
Yeah.
That's the most fun part of this whole journey. And it's also the hardest one to make happen.
Yeah, it's the one where you there's instant gratification too, because you're playing and the people are right there. So whatever like reaction that they're doing, and if you're having great reactions, like it's been building now, and now you see people like singing, entire crowd like singing words like that you wrote, and I'm
that's
like,
nuts.
that's got to be
That's
the most
nuts.
insane feeling.
Yeah.
Like I've experienced that in the small scale of like one person. I'm like, that I don't know that person, and they're singing it, so that's to put on the.
But
level
even that feeling,
thing.
it's the same feeling.
It's the same feeling.
It doesn't get better or worse. It's the same feeling.
Yeah, and I bet with like the songs and like lyrical subject matter that you tackle, you probably get a lot more follow up with it from like people wanting to talk to you about like these songs and how like they interpret it. How's
The meet
that
and
been?
greets last way longer than I thought they would.
Really?
I have this thing. Me and my tour manager talk about this all the time, that I like, for some reason, I just can't not talk to everyone.
Yeah.
I have to see everyone. And the venues do not like me for it. Like,
Oh, no.
That'll be a thing tonight.
Yeah.
It'll be a whole thing. We've done it where the venues, after 2 hours after the show of me talking to people, they'll be like, all right, you got to get out. And then we'll do it on the street for 2 more hours.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know why, I just have to. It's a part of my brain that just needs to talk to these people, because most of the time they tell me these insane stories that make me cry. But I feel like I need that emotional like thing from them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that as a kid. I don't know. It's a trauma thing. And I feel like if I'm going to connect with you, I feel like I should connect with you a little more than just sing my songs with me live.
Yeah.
And also, these people pay my bills.
Yeah.
Without them, this doesn't work, like at all, for any reason. So I feel like even if they pay $10 for a ticket, $20, $50, I feel like that they are paying for my time.
Yeah.
And if I don't have to be in the next city for 8 hours, then I've got the time.
Yeah. If you have like, there's also a balance to it, right?
I
So, like,
understand there will be a point in which
Yeah.
that will not be possible.
But-
these festivals were kind of an example of that.
I like that as long as you are able to do it and you have the capacity, like mentally and emotionally to connect with
Right.
like these people, then like you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you're right. You brought up a lot of stuff. Yes, these people are the reason it's happening. You know what I mean? This is
Exactly.
why like everything is happening for you. And I feel like if you're playing to a crowd and like they're coming out to see you for something you've worked so like
Yeah.
hard on for, and it just, I don't know, it creates that connection that most musicians when they're writing music are searching for. Like that's what they
Right.
are. Like a lot of times when you write music, it's because you feel like you're the only one feeling like these things at the moment.
Right.
And then
And the
when
eye
you do
opener
stuff
is
like that,
everyone feels this
everyone
fucking
feels
way.
like, yeah, everybody. Which is why like I think a lot of people sometimes like when people like try to cater songs like, oh, like I'm trying to write something to make it relatable for like people and this and that. And the most basic thing, like we're all experiencing the most basic like emotions like
Right.
at all time. And I think if you write just from your actual genuine experience, like there'll be a ton of people that are just automatically going to relate to that. Because one thing about music is that because it's subjective and because it's art, once you put it out, like everybody gets to interpret it the way they want to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And for me, it's just being honest with myself. I spent most of my life not being honest with myself or anybody in my life. So taking music as a place to just be completely honest with myself, and then finding out that honesty means a lot more to other people, and in some cases more to other people than it does to me, is really eye-opening. And I've got some of the coolest fans on the planet, dude. Like I met some crazy and some really cool people.
What's a crazy one?
She's gonna watch it.
She's going to watch it.
Who we talking about, Jesse?
Jesse's got a smile on his face the way he knows which one you're talking about already.
There's a few. This one, he's not crazy. This one kid,
Eccentric.
no, he tattooed a mural of me in Letdown from the top of his neck to the bottom of his ass and his entire back.
That's a lot of hair.
Yeah. And that was cool, but like I felt bad because when I met him, I like was upset because it was just all my little logos that I had drawn and stuff, and it was special to him. But like I'm on this honesty path the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So the first thing I said was, dude, you fucking ruined your back, dude.
Oh no.
I was like, what did you do? I looked at him, I was like, what did you do? I drew those in my house.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
and then I hugged him, and I apologized, but no, he was funny. He thought it was funny. Another one that goes to a lot of shows of mine has chased me halfway across the country, and I'm not even on that one yet, Jesse. Don't look at me like that.
Oh no.
She, after a show, asked me if I would draw these designs on her arm. I signed her arm in like 3 different places, and I drew Letdown on it, and I drew like from shoulder top to bottom. She had all of it tattooed in my handwriting, and not well.
Oh.
But like humbling. It was beautiful, and she's so proud of it. So it's really beautiful to see.
Yeah.
But I told her, I was like, "You're nuts. That's nuts." It didn't look like, now that I've seen it, and because she came to my show in Nashville.
Okay.
She like drove forever to come to my Nashville show on this tour, and I saw it like actually on her, healed. Not bad.
Okay.
And then there's the Cookie Boss.
The Cookie Boss.
That's her Instagram handle.
Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna name names yet. You the Instagram handle.
Well, she's not at this show.
Okay.
And that would be well, we don't know yet. If she's not here tonight, that'll be the first one she's never been to.
She's been to all of them?
Oh, she fucking sold her business, bought a travel van, and has been chasing me down.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of business was it?
She's a weightlifter, and she bought a gym. Cookies. Her business before the gym was cookies. We learned this.
Okay.
And she's a total sweetheart.
Yeah.
And I know she's going to watch it. So I'm sorry. I love you.
Hey, you're
I'm
a fan,
sorry.
though. That's
probably the biggest fan I will ever have. But yeah, she's been to everything, both festivals on this tour, like all the shows, just all last shows, last tour shows.
Oh my God.
That's only tour I didn't see her on was when we were in Europe. That was the only time I didn't see her.
Her passport didn't go through on time. That's the only reason why. It's the only reason why. That's, I mean, a little too extreme in the way I see it, but I just like the feeling of seeing like your favorite artist, band, or whatever is like such a pure, immaculate moment that like for me, I just saw Sleep Token not too long ago, and I fucking love Sleep Token.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't even like pick up my phone like the whole time. I was like, I just want to be here. And like,
dude, how cool is a concert without being on your phone?
It is pretty awesome. Like, and in this case, I did it because like they don't ever come over here, so I'm like, I'm not gonna get to see them. Like, so I'm like, I'm just gonna take this.
And you
all in
lose
as
so
much
much
as possible.
focusing on if you're getting a shot, record, what song's coming next.
Like, there's some,
and their show is like an experience. It's not just a show. It's a whole experience.
Yeah, and I was that feeling, and I remember telling my girlfriend because she loves the main, and like she's like goes to like a lot of the main shows.
I love the main too.
Yeah, and I was like, if this is how you feel, like every time you see your favorite band, I can see why you see them as often as you possibly can. Yeah, because it's such an amazing like moment to.
If you get euphoria from something, then who fuck anybody who doesn't want you to do it?
That's kind of the deal with like life in general. Like that's how you should take it. Like a lot of this anxiety that I used to have was of like, oh, if I show that I like this or I'm into that, like what are people gonna say? When I'm like, at the end of the day, like if it makes me feel fucking great, then I'm just gonna keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Who cares?
Yeah. If I like feet pictures, it's fine. I'm just kidding.
Dude, sometimes you gotta get on the fans and get some
get some
Ew, that didn't feel good.
No, don't say it. I bet you've gotten some interesting pictures. No comment. It's fine.
I try not to look at the DMs, man.
So let's touch on that. We were talking about like social media and how like worrying about initially like you had like some success and then it kind of dwindled down and then it picked back up. How are you at separating like the reactions and like maybe this post don't get as many likes as something else? Does that bleed into like how you feel about yourself? Like do you have a hard time about that? Okay.
Until pretty recently, until about 8 or 9 months ago, I think I finally started transitioning out. But yeah, it used to be social media ran my life. And if a post didn't get a lot of likes, then you did not want to be my friend that day because it was a bad day. Yeah. And I would let it ruin my fucking life. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't go see my friends. I wouldn't answer my phone. I would just obsess over what's going to be next. I would delete posts after like 2 days if they didn't do like the last one did. Yeah. And then I had a meeting with my record label, specifically Greg Thompson, who's, shout out to Greg, amazing. He's one of the best humans on the planet. He sat me down and he was like, dude, like, stop. Knock it off. He's like, they're not all going to be it. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but everyone tells me that. And he goes, no, but I'm telling you that. And Greg's like the guy who like discovered like Katy Perry and Blink-182 and like all this stuff. Like ran Capitol, head of Live Nation. Now he's head of Big Loud, like president and all that shit. And he just kind of, I can't remember the conversation like exactly as it went, but he basically just got it in my head that it's not about social media anymore. Letdown had finally transitioned because we had a hit on the radio that was in the top 20 on Billboard. He was just like, it grew. Your life isn't social media. You have a record deal. You're doing all this other stuff. You're touring. Social media should not be your focus. Yeah. Yes, I should still do everything I was doing on social media, but that has nothing to do with the other side of this anymore. It has now finally become a real thing.
Okay, so because it had already made that transition over to actual.
And it took me a while to accept that.
Yeah,
it took me a while to accept that, but now it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And now I don't even care when I post. Like I used to have like schedules and I had a freaking calendar and I would schedule my posts and draft all my stuff. And now I'm just like day of, I'll post at 2 a.m. and I know like 5 people are going to see it. I don't give a fuck now, dude.
Yeah. But you have a good base now. You know what I mean? For like.
Right. The foundation was there. And I will say that if I didn't do the work, the way obsessive work I did in the beginning, then I would never have had the base that I have. Yeah. So it was necessary to originally be that way.
Once it made that transition over to, okay, we're actually
anything
doing
in life,
now.
If you want to be successful at it, you have to be obsessed with it.
Yeah. Which
is terrible. You can't just be good at something and like doing it anymore. You have to like live and breathe it.
That's the biggest thing where I've talked to, especially like on this podcast, like I talk to a lot of like smaller artists, and it's people like, oh, well, I hate doing the posting, I hate doing that, and I'm like, I understand. Like, it's frustrating.
I was getting like high off of it.
Yeah, and it is frustrating because depending on who you are. Like I remember when I was like playing and being like a musician, like I hated like having to think of like, oh, on top of like writing music and performing, I got to think about this now. Like so now what I got to make. But I found like the balance that seemed to work is to just figure out how to post things that I actually liked creating and making, and
be yourself. Yeah. Now what people want you to be.
Yeah, being genuine is the biggest like.
It's so hard to be genuine on social media.
Very.
It's the fakest thing that exists.
But you see, I don't know if for you personally, but my experience with like social media and just like scrolling through, once I start seeing like the cookie cutter posts and like stuff that just doesn't seem real, like I just don't want to stick around and watch it. Like, or I don't, or I'll watch whatever trend it is, but that person is not memorable because that person was just like doing a certain thing, and it's always those people like doing like like the most random accounts have like I've obsessed over like, and it's people doing shit that they wanted to do for fun. There's that. Have you seen that dude that like rolls for sandwiches? Like,
dude, I love him.
Yeah, it's amazing. And this dude is just rolls making sandwiches,
spread,
and he loves Dungeons and Dragons. And
he has the freaking contraption. And he drops the dice
it's so sick. And like, I'm like, that's just having fun, making his lunch. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, he has eaten some nasty sandwiches. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
I mean, but I like that he is fair enough to add some shit that's not going to go together and some gross shit.
I think I saw like a peanut butter pastrami tomato.
That's not good.
With like horseradish and shit. It's like something super weird on sourdough. Like, ugh.
Yeah, no.
Like tuna, peanut butter, and oranges.
I barely do tuna as it is.
I can't do tuna. Dude, you know what? The weird thing is I'm not a tuna guy, and I think it's one of the stinkiest things you can have around.
Tuna?
Yeah. It's just, if you were in a very closed environment with a bunch of dudes, would you have tuna?
No.
It's the only thing my crew eats.
Why?
They put tuna in that microwave like 3 times a day, dude. I'm like, guys,
microwaves too?
We live in a vehicle together.
Yeah, that's not even one you take to work. Like the office shit.
He was making jokes that he was like, "We're gonna get a Sprinter, and you guys are following us next time."
Fuck. That's I can do cold too. Do I ever eat hot tuna?
They get those bags, and it's ready to eat.
Yeah,
and I can do that. Just like
I can do that.
Do it over there. They're like putting that shit in the microwave.
What? How is this? So this bus is this the first time you did like the bus and like the rap and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah. What was the last tour? What did y'all use?
Bandwagon.
Really?
The big black.
Yeah.
Thing.
How's it been the experience with like this now?
Well, you can sleep without getting thrown to the other side of the bus.
True.
Bandwagon is a tricky company. How do I say this without putting my foot in my mouth? The owner's a dick.
Oh, okay. Let me be
I just don't
delicate.
care because I know I'm never going to ever use this again.
Yeah.
Owner's a dick. He's renting out vehicles that are 20 years old for what seems like a cheap price until you get the bill, and then it's the same price as this
Really?
to rent it.
Is it all like?
The only upside is he includes a trailer, but like this, you don't even need a trailer. The whole bottom side's cargo. All of our lighting
shit.
gear, our drum kits, our whole stage production, backdrops, everything is under this bus.
So yeah, I mean, I've been seeing like a lot of like the videos of the live show. Like you have a pretty big setup. Like
This is the first time we didn't bring the LED walls. Usually we tour with these LED walls,
Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen those.
but a lot of the stages were small and we didn't want to just use them for half of them, and you can't use them on the festival stages because they have LED walls. So we said fuck it. So we brought just our lighting package that I fell in love with.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Bandwagon, and the biggest thing is that the driver, the cab, and the actual rest of it are separate. So the cab is on air suspension, like this whole bus is, which makes it a smooth ride. The rest of it, where you are, is on normal like car suspension, and it's what Bandwagon is. It's a box truck. It's the biggest U-Haul you can get, and they painted them black.
Ah, okay.
So,
Interesting.
have you ever been in the back of a U-Haul while it's moving?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, that would make it
Yeah.
difficult.
Think of like the Texas Giant before they rebuilt it.
Yeah, that shit used to hurt.
I brought my dogs on the last tour with them, and my dog.
Oh, so it's like
dude,
I thought you were gonna say I brought my dog on the Texas Giant. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
that would have been a smoother ride.
Fuck. Oh
No, I brought my dogs, and there was multiple times where I just saw, and I was like, no.
no. Oh god.
Yeah, I fell on the floor while I was sleeping at least 4 times. I know my old guitarist got launched out of his top bunk like 3 times.
Oh. Fuck.
And it's the little shit.
Yeah.
And the driver doesn't feel it because it's a smooth road
on
to
the-
him. So you're just getting chunked around. Anything that's on a counter is broken.
Oh my.
Our content guy, his brand new MacBook got shattered because he left it on, because there was a kitchen table thing like
Yeah.
in here. He left it on that, and we woke up and it was on the other side of the bus.
Oh.
On the ground.
Fuck. Yeah. That would.
So yeah, Bandwagon, no. It has a shower, which is cool, but
Okay.
the water tank runs out after 1 shower. And if you don't shut the water pump off, it'll ruin the pump, and then you have no water for the rest of the tour.
Oh shit.
Or in my case, I stopped at a RV repair place and bought a water pump and rewired it.
So that would
The
just
owner hated me for it, but
for fixing it,
I bought him a really nice water pump. I got him one of those fucking big ass SureFlows. Thing worked great.
and he got mad at it.
Apparently.
Okay, so I understand why you started off with owner's a
Yeah.
dick.
A lot of people like the Bandwagon, and I see why it's affordable at first, but at the end of the day, the fees and charges and everything that happens, it ends up not being very affordable.
Well, it's like I mean, the game is like you learning how to do this shit like as you go,
You learn.
and you
That's all it is learning.
yeah. That's all the big like part of it is like as long as you're doing stuff like and hey, if something goes wrong, like okay, just don't do that.
And I've toured in every single vehicle imaginable, from my personal car to 15 passenger to sprinters to bandwagons to this. I have a small run coming up where it doesn't make sense to even have one of these, so we're just taking a sprinter because like it makes the most sense.
Yeah. How was the like the Europe tours?
That was nuts.
So I have like just what I've seen. I've never experienced anything, but people in Europe seem to like go a lot harder.
My crowd in Europe is 5 times the size it is here.
Really?
Like they just like music, and they care so much more about music, and they
Yeah.
show up in droves. Like in a venue, I can sell 500 tickets in in the U.S. That'd be like 3,500 in Europe.
That's crazy. Do you have any ideas like why?
They
Why
just
do you-
like music more.
Yeah.
They care more. When they get invested in artists in ways we don't. Like, yes, we do. We do because you listen to artists and you're like, oh, this speaks to me and this and that. This shit runs their lives. Like, they live their life off of an artist when they find one.
Wow.
And plus, just the culture of going to shows is big there. People just go. The people that live in that town will
Yeah.
go to the biggest show just because.
That's a culture that I've been trying to figure out like how to. I mean, especially like with starting with booking and stuff like that. I was like, how do you get that sort of movement going? Because that's a thing that people don't seem to be doing as much anymore.
Yeah.
It's just going to shows to go to shows.
Right.
Because I remember like even like there was a year where
The
I
walk-up
realized that I
game
wasn't
is
doing
gone.
that. Yeah, and
It's gone.
that's what I'm saying. And every now and again we'll get one, and it's the craziest thing. We're like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, there was a show happening today, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we're here for that. And I'm like, how? You know what I mean? And I'm like, how do you get that? Because I remember I started doing, because I realized that I'm like, oh, I'm only going to shows of like stuff that I know. Like, there's probably a bunch more that I'm like missing out on. And I started buying like random tickets like every week, and I would just like go to shows in the middle of the week and see like these bands, and I'm like, and I found a lot of cool shit.
I've been doing that in Nashville a lot because Nashville has like this massive
Nashville has a shit ton of music.
the music capital of the United States.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is like Broadway, and I had to Google this because I thought my friend lied to me, but at any given point from 11 a.m. to 3 in the morning, there's 300 live bands playing.
What the fuck?
On that street.
300?
300.
That's absolutely insane.
Absolutely nuts. And, you know, there's a lot of cover bands, a lot of bar bands, but these guys are more talented than any touring band you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
They do it every day. But Nashville also has a massive music scene that's national touring bands, local bands, and stuff like that as well. And so when I hired my new guitar player, he's super into that. He just goes to shows every other fucking day. And he started inviting me, and I started going, and I have found some of my favorite acts now. I have made a lot of new friends, but mostly just am now listening to bands that I never would have found unless I went to these shows.
Yeah, that's the thing about like your algorithms and stuff like that. If that's the way you're consuming music, is that at a certain point you are consuming only a certain type of music.
You're consuming what everybody else is consuming.
Yes, and then it's hard to find what your actual tastes are or just what's
cool.
What's cool? Yeah. So I forgot. I forgot who it was. Like on a Childish Gambino album. But there was like someone said, he's like, "Do you really like the shit that you like, or do you just like the way they gave it to you?" And I'm like, "Oh, crap. And I was like, "Yeah, like you know what? Like how was it packaged? Like for me, or like what was put into
that's real as fuck."
Yeah, and it just got me to think. I'm like, "Fuck, do I really like what I like?" Like
that's it. I'm deleting my Facebook.
I'm just like, yeah, I don't. I go. It's kind of hard to tell. Like I gotta. Actually, a girlfriend and now my friend, his name is Zach. He goes to shows almost on the daily. Like on the daily, he's seeing, and it's the biggest range of music I've ever seen. And it's like a shit ton of stuff, and like it just ranges so like from. I remember he was telling me, he's like, oh, my favorite band is this band called Fact, and it's a Japanese band that played like back in the day. And they happened to play a So What that I went to. And I'm like, I saw them. And he's like, dude, you saw my favorite band and I never am going to get to see them. But stuff like that, stuff to like shit that I've never heard of. And that's not saying much because there's so much music and stuff. But his range, and he like doesn't just like, oh, I heard one song. Like he knows quite a bit. I'm like, but this feels like the same attitude of what you're talking about, the people from Europe, where it's like, oh, they put so much attention to detail into every one of the artists.
And that's their like, where we go out to bars, they go to shows.
Yeah,
like, they don't do the let's just go out and get fucked up. They go, let's go watch a show.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
That's such a cool thing.
Because there are local bands there that have been playing for 6 months that are playing in front of 2,000 people.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Especially Germany, Austria, like that clump is just it's over the top insane. The UK is kind of like that too. I think one of my favorite shows I played in Europe was in London, which was just like that, where, I think there was 1,200 kids there, and I would say probably about 400 of them had never heard of me.
Wow.
Like a huge chunk.
Holy shit. That's like kind of what you want. Like,
yes, that's exactly what you want.
All like as many new people,
right?
Like fans or people who are going to intake that music for the first time. Because I have, in the order, I've listened to music like and found artists like through whatever streaming, like I'm streaming on and be like, oh, like that's a cool artist. But I have not, it's not as a quick obsession as seeing a band for the first time live and it being an insane show and being like, oh, I fucking love this.
Yeah,
like, I'm going to look everything up. Like,
that's such a cool feeling too.
Yeah, it is. Like,
I just did that in Nashville with a band called 90s Kids.
Yeah.
And I remember I was with my buddy Dom, and he knew some people in that band. That's why he went to go see them. And I remember at least 6 times during the show, I was like, these guys are fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, not good, like good. Mm-hmm. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
It's such a good feeling. And it's cool because, like, you, to a certain point, there's, like, a little bit of, like, musical numbness, I feel. Like, you're listening to all this stuff, and, like, you're, like, and I find myself being like, this is good, but nothing is sticking around for me. You know what I mean? And then, like, for someone completely new to do that, like we do this thing called Rot Swap like every month, and it's like,
what's it called?
It's called Rot. We brand everything off of Noise Rat. So Rot Swap. So it's a singer song swap. And then so we just have either artists from like different genres come in. They're all stripped down sets that they do.
Oh, got you.
So
in Nashville, we have the exact same thing.
Nashville does a shit ton.
Right around.
Yeah. Basically,
Same
that's
thing.
what it is. And there was a kid on there, and he was playing, and he worked in the kitchen, like, and they were like, oh, I also play music, and like, he went on stage, and he was part of it. And there's a song he played, and like I started crying because I was like emotional. It's the first time I've listened to this song, and I've like, that's all I was there to do. I was just sitting down, I was listening, and it's just intently, and I'm like, the performance, his voice, like the lyrics, I'm just like, I like started realizing, I was like, why am I crying right now?
That's
I'm like,
a beautiful
this is
moment.
amazing.
That's a beautiful moment
From someone I had no idea existed. You know what I mean? And it's such a great moment. But I think that's the right attitude to take, to be open to like these experiences and moments.
It's important.
Yeah.
I think it's very important to be open to those experiences, man. And crying during a set, it's happened to me a couple times.
Yeah.
And damn.
So after this tour, you have another small run going on. This is the last day of this tour, right?
This is it. I'm ready to go home.
Hometown. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dallas date, actually, it's not on, like, we have tour t-shirts. It's not on the tour t-shirts.
Really?
This was a request of mine.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, Clint, who owns Trees and Bomb Factory, we were talking, and he was like, would you want to do a Dallas date? And I was like, absolutely. Why would I not? But I already made the merch. So I might get a white marker. But no, I really wanted to, especially because I had my best friend lives here. A lot of old friends of mine that I still talk to daily live here, and they don't get a chance to see me ever.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be something fun to do, do a show at Trees, make the tickets relatively cheap. My guest list is like a mile long.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. They're gonna shit when they see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm excited, man.
Hell
and
yeah.
thank you for doing this.
No, thank you.
This is
for
great.
saying it. I was like, just like shot in the dark. I was like, let me see. Like, it'd be kind of cool to talk to Blake again, see what his how this at. And he was like, yeah, cool. And
we'll have to do it again.
Yeah. Let me know. Anytime you're in town, you swing by. I'll swing by. Now I know how to set it up. Like, oh, it's the first time I've done it on the bus.
Well, you acted like you knew exactly what you were doing.
Oh, it's faking it till you make it. You just gotta have confidence. I figure it out.
You're talking to the king of that saying.
Well, man, you're making it, and you're doing it. You know what I mean? And the biggest part that I'm taking back is that you're like having fun and you're happy doing it, and that's kind of like what's making me feel the best right now, is that you're having a good time doing it.
I'm glad, man. I truly am happy.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad about that, and I thank you for taking time out of the day before the show tonight. Show's gonna be nuts. I'm excited as fuck to finally see you.
Fuck yeah.
And
you're sticking around for the show too?
Yeah, I bought my tickets, baby.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you. You didn't have to, but thank you.
Yeah, no, but yeah, you maybe finesse me to watch upstairs. I've never done that. Actually, no, I don't.
I've never been in there.
Yeah, no. Nah, you big shot now.
I'm working on it.
But anyways, yeah, thank you for doing this. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Go follow Letdown on everything. It's just Letdown on everything, right?
Letdown.com, Letdown on everything else. Just Letdown.
Hell yeah. And go listen to all the music. Go to the show. Become the new Obsessed fan. It's going to be great. It's been episode 80. I forgot. 87?
Episode 87.
With
happy to be here.
Blake Coddington of Letdown. We'll see you guys next time.
Sounds and breakdowns.